Hello. Today I'm sharing another song, and it's currently one of my favorites, and I listen to it often. It's a great reminder that God can use all things, that when we count ourselves out, or we feel like situations might be unredeemable, or things are too far gone to get any better, that God actually can still turn what was meant to destroy us into glory. And this song takes it a step further and challenges us to turn those things into praise. The other day, I heard of several studies that are being done or have been done that say that it's difficult for anxiety to exist in the same space as gratitude. I'm personally making an effort to challenge this idea and implement it in my own life. Praise Him, worship Him, count my blessings more and more every day and more every moment in an effort to combat the fear and anxiety that inevitably tries to take up space in my brain. Some days take more effort on my part, and some days feel more natural. Some days I actually only make the effort after I'm already irritated or frustrated, or after something bad has already happened. So it takes longer to shift my focus off of those things and onto Jesus. It's definitely not that I want to wallow or that I would prefer to sit in those frustrations or those anxieties or fears. But honestly, sometimes it seems a little bit easier. Sometimes it takes such effort to guide my focus off of those things and back to Jesus and back on the good and the godly. Now, please don't take this as a Pollyanna approach, that I don't want to focus on any negative, that I only want to focus on the positive, and that there aren't actually bad things that happen in our lives. And some of us are walking through some pretty rough things right now. While I do like focusing on the positive, I also believe there's a balance to living in that positive and living in the reality of the world around us. My personal approach is to acknowledge the negative, to acknowledge that there's sometimes just crummy, crappy things, and sometimes even worse, that are happening around us and to us. But then to turn my focus back towards God and make that conscious effort to trust Him in the midst. Now, this song doesn't say life will be easy. In fact, we're told the opposite. John 16:33 says, I've told you these things so that in me you may have peace. In this world you will have trouble. And it goes on because there's hope. We may have trouble, but there's hope. He finishes it by saying, but take heart, I have overcome this world. We all try to minimize our challenges and maximize our comforts. But as we're told, in this world we will have troubles. The song is reminding us that God can turn those things that were meant to destroy, those troubles, into something that can bring Him glory. Turn simply means change direction. So the song is implying that it's already headed in a bad direction, in a negative direction. The path is already headed that way. Something is already headed that way, and it needs to be turned. But that God can turn those things. And He can turn something that was meant to destroy us into something that will actually ultimately bring Him glory. It might not happen overnight, and it probably will not. And it might feel like it's taking forever. But like the song says, God writes beautiful endings to every story. The question I'm asking us today is, where are our hearts in the meantime? Are we choosing to focus on the bad, the negative? Or are we focusing on Jesus? Do we feel like our situations won't get better without our assistance, without us controlling them? Or are we willing to release them back to God and let Him work out the details? Are we willing to let Him turn the situation and write a beautiful ending? Are we going to focus on Him, live in gratitude, and turn our hearts to praise? I know it won't be easy, but today I'm praying that we begin to make turning a regular daily practice. I pray that we make the intentional, conscious effort to turn our focus away from the negative, the bad, the world, the culture, and turn it back towards God. I pray we spend quality time counting our blessings and that we do it often. That we worship God no matter what is going on around us or to us. And that we embrace an attitude of gratitude so that we find ourselves getting overwhelmed not by fear and anxiety, but by God's graciousness, His provision, His protection, His generosity, His love. I pray that we find ourselves in the midst of His peace as we watch Him turn what was meant to destroy us into something that will bring Him glory. Thanks for being on this journey with me. I hope you have a great rest of your day.